everybody, this is Ginger and Ginger's Rant Show. I'll wait a few minutes. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. And mine was pretty quiet. My daughter was here and my ex was here, and they cooked dinner and they cleaned up the kitchen, which is rare. But I'm thankful for that, and thankful for living here in my new place and my new friends. Hey, Dorothy! How are things in your neck of the woods? I don't know if you heard on the news or not, on the weather part, we're going to get hit this week with what they call an atmospheric river. A lot of heavy rain and some snow, and I just hope the snow part holds off or it misses my area completely. I really hope so, because in a couple weeks I'm going in for surgery on my hand. So, hey, Dusty, hi. So my hand surgery is on December 16th, and it's at 10 a.m. and it's going to get worked on and get the problem fixed. Hey, Loki. Loki says hi. So anyway, this is my, thank you, Dusty. Thank you. Oh, and I heard on the news, too, that Georgia's now doing its early voting again. So apparently Mr. Warnock is doing really well. Yeah, this is my Loki boy. He's 4 years old, and he thinks he runs the house, right? He's a good kid. Last night he was reminding me to go to bed, right? So anyway, on this rant, today's rant, I'm really, thank you, Dusty. I don't know if you saw my posting of him that was done 2 years ago. That picture was taken after he adopted me. It's not the other way around. His previous owner kind of neglected him, and Loki was looking for a new home, and I gave him a new home. I was trying to letting Cyrano not be so lonely, and no, but he's getting very close. He's letting Trump hang himself by Trump attacking him, which is a big no-no, because that's considered obstruction when he's doing that. Trump should have listened to his lawyers and let the lawyers do the job. But no, he doesn't listen to anybody. But I'm really sick and tired of Trump acting like a spoiled 2-year-old brat. And he attacks anybody or anything that disagrees with him or tried to hold him accountable for his actions. He should have been held accountable for his actions years ago. Yeah, I saw that, and I don't cater to Twitter, and I don't cater to his so-called True Social, which is what you should call that, oxymoron. She's very active in causes, various social causes, which she's active in. And some of it could be political, but also she wants everything better for everybody. And Yeah, he is. I agree, Dusty. Um, he did not like strong women, and Trump doesn't. And well, that's just too bad. His mom should have spanked him. She should have spanked him hard, and she should have put him in his room on timeout, and uh, not let him get away with anything. Uh, Frankly, I think Trump was very poorly raised, and even Mary Trump, his niece, says she doesn't like her uncle at all. She really dislikes him, and she was kind of sorry that she was kind of related to him, and I, I can't say I blame him. Yeah, well, what she should have done was, um, I don't know, family dynamics like that. Um, some ways it's sad, some ways it isn't. Why she hated him, I don't know. I think it was more that she couldn't. She probably didn't know how to raise him properly or handle him properly. Probably didn't know what to do. And of course, back then they didn't really have any. Oh, she wasn't allowed to. What were you trying to say, Dusty? She should have what? Um, yeah, he should have been spanked. You know, he should have been disciplined. And I think they should have brought in a child psychologist, which back then they didn't have any child psychologists back in the 1940s because I didn't think it was probably not in demand. Uh, Sorry you're hearing a lot of the aircraft noise. Um, Recorder's busy. um, but yeah, I mean, when I went to grade school, I ran into kids that were like Trump. And they wanted all the power and all the glory of everybody and slam down something just to make themselves feel better. Well, there are a number of kids, including me, that won't put up with that. And, well, the father should have a 2x4 slammed over his head. That's not how you raise your kids, okay? But as I said, when I was in grade school, I wouldn't put up with a kid like that. And there was this one kid that was like almost like Trump, and he kept bullying me, harassing me, hitting me, and everything else. This was just prior to coming home on the bus. I finally had enough, and I took my tin lunch pail. Remember those days? I took my tin lunch pail and hit him over the head with it. I bopped him hard. I told him to knock it off and leave me alone unless you want to learn to be a gentleman. And you know what? After that, he left me alone. I smashed some respect into him. Okay. Um, well, well, not only that, but Trump basically also killed his own brother too, because his brother had some serious health issues. and and like Mary Trump said, she just did not put up with her uncle on that. She stood up to him, and if he didn't like it, that's just too bad. And his revenging on other people, that doesn't work. It really doesn't. Nobody likes a bully. Okay. Um. And with him attacking the DOJ, his tantrums, uh, good for you, Dusty. I hope he left you alone after that. Now, I had one teacher in grade school that condoned that kind of behavior. And I told him, the male teacher, I told him I had a right to defend myself. And you're saying girls have no right to defend themselves? Then you're being an idiot. And, matter of fact, my dad told him he was an idiot. And, you know, boys are taught to keep their hands to themselves. And so anyway, yeah. So you did a jujitsu flip, huh? Way to go, Dusty. Anyway, I think they're getting closer to indictment, both on the Georgia front and also on the New York front and the federal front. Because I think they found more of those documents. That's what I heard over the weekend. They found more of those documents that have been missing. And having national security documents when he shouldn't have them in the first place, he should have been in jail right away. But they just, in cases like this, they want to make sure that the evidence is solid. That's why it's taking so long. But they didn't discover the missing documents until middle of last year. Okay. Just after he moved out of the White House. And in 2021, he moved out. Okay. When President Biden was moving in. So the personnel there should have made sure all those documents were returned to NSA and returned to the CIA. They should have not been left out. So they're in trouble too. But if Trump was probably the chief instigator in all this. In cases like that, he's probably going to be in jail for a long time. So, my Christmas wish is this, that Trump be indicted, jailed, convicted, and thrown in prison for life. And also, they should put in the 14th Amendment that you should never be allowed to run for office again. And I think now the Federal Election Commission needs to throw out his application, throw it out, because he's under criminal investigation, and they should throw it out. Because right now it's 2022, and the presidential election is 2 years away, 2024. So he's kind of jumping the gun here, Trump was thinking, well, if he did that, he wouldn't be investigated. Well, that doesn't work that way. He's going to discover that it's not going to work that way, because he's a private citizen. Yeah, that's my Christmas wish, and I hope it happens before Christmas. I really do. In other words, give Trump the indictment, hand him a big bag of coal, and throw him in prison, or throw him in jail. Now, some of his kids are in trouble in some of their aspects, but mostly it's, what was the name of the case? Mostly there's some federal laws that they violated. They should have, get that resolved. And of course, on to other things here. The House GOP, if you noticed, are doing some infighting. Um, None of the conservative GOP don't want McCarthy as House Speaker. None of them do. And none of them don't want MTG either. She doesn't have the experience. Um, and of course, now the House has a very slim majority, Republican majority. Very, very slim. It's like 3 or 4 seats, I think. I don't know what the exact count is. What's the other thing? So they'll haggle that out in January when they're sworn new members or some of the new people are sworn in, and those that have been reelected are sworn in. But for going after some of the radical GOP going after Beau Biden and then of course wanting to impeach Biden and everything else, that's not going to fly. Many of them are saying, nope, we got other more important things to do. So those two things that the radicals want to do, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not. And they should be told that it's not going to go anywhere. They should just drop the subject and just move on. Well, a good majority of the GOP have left Trump. Love you too, Dusty. See you later. Take care. So anyway, like I said, they're working on some other things right now. And it's getting close to the Christmas time, and people are concentrating on other things. And of course, on the war front, Ukraine is beating the crap out of Russia. Ukraine received some new air-to-air equipment to go after what's left of the Russian Air Force, everything else. And I understand that Putin is seriously ill, and he should just give up. He should just, resign, go home, and croak. I don't like Putin at all. I never have. So, I pray for the Ukrainian people, and I'm sure that they will smack them back so hard it's not even funny. Even a major company that used to operate in Russia has left Russia. They said, nope, no more. And a good majority of the Russians there are getting out of the country and moving elsewhere. They just don't want to be around Trump, or not Trump, but they just don't want to be around Putin and his pathetic talents or anything. And this planet does not need any more bullies. We don't need any more terrorists. We don't need any more tyrants or dictators. We don't need it here. If they want something like that, then they could move to another planet. Because now we have the rocket capability to do so. Oh, speaking of which, SpaceX has launched their CRX-26 mission to restock ISIS. They set up some new equipment. They set up some new solar arrays up there to replace some of the solar arrays that are already on the station because they're getting ready to wear out, and they put new ones up. And these type of solar arrays are foldable. They can fold them out. They can adjust them. They could tweak it. Get the best maximum power for the station from the sun. And also they set up experiments for more of the astronauts to work on. And then after they're done unloading everything from CRS-26 Dragon, they'll load it back in. They'll garbage stuff in the trunk. And then the experiments and everything else being sent back to Earth, and so the scientists could look at the results of the experiments and everything that's been done up there. And of course in return, the space station would have plenty of food and everything and supplies, and they're also, I understand they're getting some new tablets too, computer tablets. Because after 3 or 4 years up there, the tablets will wear out. Shelf life for electronics like this, like the tablets and like the cell phones, they last pretty much like close to 5 years. And same way with your desktop, they last about 5 years. But they're working on making them last longer, which it makes sense. Less chance having to recycle and everything, and utilize our electronics. And there's a push to have batteries made for our cell phones, so all you do is have to replace the battery and still be chargeable. But sooner or later, I'm going to have to replace my cell phone. So I've been doing some shopping for that. So, because it's starting to act up, is what it's starting to do. And of course, I have my laptop. I've been upgrading it. I'm going to be doing more of that today. Also, I'm still working on my website, working on my store, working on that. And there is a drop shipping company that does have, preset websites, and I'll look at that and see what they have. If not, I'll just go back to the other drop shipping company. Sorry it's been taking so long. I just wanted to take a break and relax this past weekend, which I did do. And then, of course, when I go to have surgery done on my hand, I'm going to be typing with one hand, with this hand. This one will be out of commission for a while. So, anyway, I need you to share, insist, persist, push back, talk to your senators, talk to your representatives. In other words, drown out the corporations. The corporations need to sit back and take stock and really look at what they're doing. Corporations need to being so selfish and start thinking of your employees first. Think of your employees first. Then your employees will take care of your customers. Everything comes in full circle. And I understand too that, speaking of corporations, I understand too that Twitter is now in trouble because of Elon Musk's antics of laying off almost everybody. Well, how are you going to run a company when you're doing this crap? He does okay with SpaceX because scientists and everything else is needed. But a social platform is a social media platform is a totally different animal. And I don't think he understands how it really works. Yeah, you too, Dorothy. And hope the weather doesn't get too bad. Did get a lot of rain over the weekend. Did get some rain and got some high winds. So I hope it's not too bad. Okay, well, I will see you Monday. And I will talk to you later. Take care. Love you all. Again, persist, insist, and push back. I'll be posting this on my YouTube channel. I need more subscribers to my YouTube channel. Please, pretty please. And have a wonderful evening. And I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.